Stacey, it's great to see you. I was just talking with Dan Ives backstage, and who says he thinks the play is really to kind of make sure that China stays hooked on these chips so that they don't, as Christina was saying, develop their own chip industry that could be competitive or superior to ours in the long run.
Yeah. My guess is they're already going down that path, regardless of what happens. I actually think there's a ton of demand for Nvidia's parts in China, at least from the customers. We're seeing this from the governmental side, though. I mean, clearly they're a little more hesitant to allow it, and that is because they are trying to encourage their local domestic chip vendors. And they really have no choice, right? I mean, we've already proven we can chop their knees out from under them whenever we want to. And so I don't think that they can afford to give up on the localization plans, even if they do allow some sales. And by the way, my guess is they will allow some sales in. But I think it's too late. I think that horse has left the barn. And by the way, we're not just seeing that in AI, we're seeing it in semi-cap, we're seeing it in analog, all of the areas that are strategic and where the U.S. has put constraints on them. I think China's already going down that path one way or the other.
So where does that leave the chip? So where does that leave an Nvidia, right? I mean, both in the short and near term. And please layer into this, what were your big takeaways from your time, that was spent there just now? I mean, as an investor, what does it make you think?
Yeah, no, you bet. So look, at least Nvidia has zeroed out China from the numbers, and so anything they get is upside. And if there's demand and they get purchase orders, I think they can secure supply and ship that. But I do think, at least as an investor, over the long term, I think you have to discount, like the long term viability of China for all of these guys. That's not new, right? That was already, I think, the view even before the H200 approval. From the U.S. government. So I think Nvidia has actually handled it really well. Like I said, they've taken it out of the numbers. They've told investors it's going to be a very competitive market. Don't count on it. Anything they get at this point, I think, is upside, and I think that's fine. And fortunately for them, the overall global market for AI, at least right now, is so big that even if you can't, I mean, they don't have enough, to your earlier point, they probably don't have enough capacity, to serve all of the demand in China if they were able to get all of it anyway. So I think they're okay.
Not only okay, you've got a $275 price target on them. $100 higher from here would be a tailwind for the markets for sure, I would imagine. And I think what you're raising goes to what got a little bit lost last week, which is, as it pertains to Oracle and others, are they delaying, bringing capacity online or what have you because there's not enough supply, which is incredibly bullish, or because there's not enough demand, right?
I mean, demand is off the charts right now.
Exactly. I believe there was a supply story. Yeah.
So they're selling everything they can make, and there are various bottlenecks on supply. There's the wafer capacity, there's the packaging, what they call the CoWoS capacity. There's memory, high bandwidth memory. And there's just the broader complexity of assembling these racks. Like a Blackwell rack weighs 3,000 pounds and it's as tall as my ceiling and it's got 1.2 million different components in it. So there's a lot of complexity and constraints just around building that stuff. The Blackwell racks, at least some of those constraints have been easing. And I mean, Nvidia even put up a chart at their GTC event a few months ago that kind of suggested they're on track to ship. It was 20 million Blackwell and Rubin GPUs, so that would be 10 million actual chips. Each chip has two GPUs in it. Up from it's like quadrupling what they've already shipped to this point next year. I mean, so they've got the supply to meet the goals that they've set out, and they're getting more orders, even after that date. So they've got the supply to satisfy that. My guess is the demand is still higher than that, at least at this point. I'm not really worried about demand. The only ones right now that seem to be worried about demand and sustainability seem to be the investors. The actual companies that are doing the spending right now, it's full steam ahead.
Artificial intelligence, AI, appears to be growing at an unstoppable rate. On an effort to keep ahead of the competition, IT businesses are nevertheless investing heavily on new goods and services. With a current market valuation of almost $4.2 trillion, chipmaker Nvidia is the most valuable corporation in the world thanks to its expansion. The tech behemoth has experienced fast growth in both sales and profits. Other businesses have taken notice of its dominance in the AI chip market and are creating their own chips in an attempt to become less reliant on Nvidia. However, it could not be the company's main worry. CEO Jensen Huang feels that if regulations are implemented incorrectly, they could burden not just Nvidia but the entire industry. The development of AI makes it abundantly evident that stringent rules are required. Popular chatbot operators are being sued for a variety of offenses, such as copyright violations and inadequate user protections. Rarely, users who are thinking of ending their lives have interacted with dubious chatbots. In at least one instance, ChatGPT was accused of encouraging a distressed user to carry out the act rather than offering guidance on how to get assistance. Furthermore, this is not a singular occurrence. The details of any AI regulation are still up in the air. However, the regulations may have a significant impact on AI's growth prospects if they become complex or differ by state. We need to make sure that the United States advances AI technology as quickly as possible, and state-by-state regulation would bring this industry to a halt and create a national security concern, Huang told reporters on Capitol Hill earlier this month, following a meeting with President Donald Trump. According to Huang, Trump supports the establishment of a federal standard that would provide for more uniformity and clarity. On December 11th, Trump issued an executive order that allegedly mandates nationwide, rather than state-by-state, implementation of AI legislation. Such an order's legitimacy is probably going to be contested, even while tech firms like Nvidia would support laws that would enable them to keep expanding quickly. Some degree of regulation is unavoidable. Investors purchasing AI stocks should be mindful of this uncertainty, since it might have a substantial influence on the industry's short and long-term growth prospects, depending on how complex and limiting it turns out to be. 3 years have passed since OpenAI's ChatGPT first appeared in 2022, which caused a spike in the stock market and Nvidia's sales. The company was having trouble expanding 3 years ago, and then everything changed dramatically. The demand for Nvidia's state-of-the-art AI chips surged. Additionally, even though its growth rate has decreased over the past 12 months, it is still high at more than 60%. Nvidia must continue to grow at a rapid pace in order to maintain its high valuation. Even though the company is now trading at a price-to-earnings multiple of 43, investors are still optimistic due to the anticipated future growth. Taking analyst growth predictions into account, the stock's price-to-earnings growth PEG ratio of about 0.7 indicates fair value. However, Nvidia can start to appear like a far more costly stock to hold if those expectations are lowered as a result of additional regulation. Nvidia's stock has increased by 30% from the beginning of the year as of today's trading session. Despite its high price, the stock is nevertheless the subject of a lot of excitement. Nvidia can still be a wise purchase if you're a long-term investor who plans to wait a few years. Nonetheless, it's critical to take into account the short-term dangers and uncertainties associated with AI and the economy. Although the road ahead is probably going to be rough, Nvidia is still on course for significant future development as it is emerging as a leader in the industry. Purchasing the stock at current levels can still make a lot of sense, but you should also prepare for the risk of a short-term decline. Due to the company's first-to-market advantage and the high performance of its chips, Nvidia has been the go-to source for artificial intelligence, AI chips, since the beginning of the AI boom. As a result of all of this, earnings have increased dramatically, with revenue and profit hitting all-time highs and share prices rising by an astounding 900% in just 3 years. It's not just Nvidia, though, in the fascinating field of AI. Other chip designers, like Broadcom, and even some of its own clients, like Amazon, who have created their own processors, compete with it. However, one name stands out as possibly the greatest challenge to Nvidia's hegemony: advanced micro devices, a business that has been rapidly expanding with new, powerful chips and alluring prices. Additionally, Nvidia estimates that spending on AI infrastructure might exceed $4 trillion in the upcoming years, making this a potentially pivotal time for semiconductor companies. Which of these two AI chip creators will spearhead computing in the upcoming 10 years? Let's investigate. Let's start by talking about Nvidia's rise to prominence and how it has so far been able to remain ahead of competitors. As previously said, Nvidia was the first company to enter the market with their supercharged graphics processing units, GPUs, which are AI chips that power the most important AI operations, such as inferencing and training. This gave the business the chance to cultivate connections with clients and win them over with the caliber of Nvidia's offerings. By consistently innovating and committing to yearly updates to its top processors in recent years, Nvidia was able to preserve its dominant position. With the introduction of its Instinct series of accelerators in 2017, AMD brought AI into the spotlight. Since then, it has expanded its GPU lineup, improving performance and so growing in strength as a competitor to AI giant Nvidia. The company's revenue increased by 36% to a record $9.2 billion in the most recent earnings report. Lisa Su, the CEO, stated that the company's quarterly performance and outlook for the upcoming quarter were a clear step up in our growth trajectory. Gains during that time were driven by data center clients' demand for the company's EPYC CPUs and Instinct AI accelerators. It's also noteworthy that AMD and OpenAI recently inked an agreement for the deployment of 6 gigawatts of AMD GPUs, with the first gigawatt scheduled to launch in the second half of the following year. Additionally, OpenAI and Nvidia have an agreement for the deployment of 10 gigawatts of Nvidia GPUs. Even while AMD has made significant progress in a short amount of time and will undoubtedly continue to receive a lot of orders for its GPUs, I don't think the firm will overtake Nvidia and lead computing in the upcoming 10 years. Here's why. With GPUs, high-performance networking hardware, software, and platforms tailored to particular sectors like robotics, autonomous cars, and healthcare, Nvidia has genuinely established a vast ecosystem in the field of artificial intelligence. Additionally, Nvidia created capabilities within those industry platforms to assist users in achieving their objectives. Although AMD also provides a wide range of goods and services, its offerings are not as extensive as those of its larger rival. All of this puts Nvidia in a stronger position to dominate computing for the next 10 years, but AMD will still profit from the next stages of AI development. AMD has seen a surge in demand in recent quarters, and its processors and systems are powerful and reasonably priced. Large chip buyers such as Amazon purchase GPUs from a number of chip designers in addition to Nvidia. Amazon Web Services continues to collaborate closely with semiconductor partners like Nvidia, with whom we continue to place very large orders, as well as with AMD and Intel, according to Amazon CEO Andy Jassy during the company's most recent earnings call. All of this suggests that AMD may have a lot of exciting times ahead of it, but given the empire Nvidia has meticulously cultivated over the years and its dedication to innovation, I anticipate that this AI behemoth will continue to drive the AI revolution. Sky-high addressable markets are one of the few things that attract Wall Street investors' attention, and artificial intelligence, AI, is a good fit. According to PwC experts, artificial intelligence, AI, could boost the world economy by $15.7 trillion by 2030, which would benefit a wide range of businesses. The emergence of AI has benefited numerous businesses, but none have embodied this technological transformation more than Nvidia and Palantir Technologies. Palantir's stock has soared by almost 2,760% since the start of 2023, while Nvidia recently became the first publicly traded business to reach the $5 trillion milestone. If there is a lesson to be learned from Wall Street's past, it is that when things appear too good to be true, they frequently are. This could be worrisome news for this dynamic AI team in 2026. Before focusing on 2026, let's examine how Nvidia and Palantir came to be considered the most well-liked AI stocks on Wall Street. Both businesses are distinguished by their sustainable moats. It all comes down to Nvidia's graphics processing units, GPUs. Businesses running AI-accelerated data centers choose its Hopper, H100, Blackwell, and Blackwell Ultra CPUs. Some analysts claim that Nvidia owns over 90% of the GPUs that are presently in use in business data centers. Jensen Huang, the CEO, is determined to keep this share. With the Vera Rubin and Vera Rubin Ultra, which are powered by the brand new Vera processor, scheduled to launch in the second half of 2026 and 2027, respectively, he has set the lofty goal of releasing a new cutting-edge AI chip every year. It is unlikely that external competitors will be able to match Nvidia's hardware on a computational basis due to this rapid innovation timeframe. Moreover, Nvidia's success can be attributed to its CUDA platform. The software toolset known as CUDA is what developers use to get the most out of their Nvidia GPUs, including training massive language models. Client loyalty to the Nvidia brand is maintained by CUDA, which serves as an anchor. Palantir, however, benefits from the fact that its software-as-a-service, SaaS, platforms, Gotham and Foundry, which are powered by AI and machine learning, cannot be replaced one for the other. Gotham is used by the U.S. government and its allies to manage data collection and analysis, as well as the planning and execution of military operations. Palantir's main source of increased sales and profits has been this. Foundry is a subscription-based software-as-a-service (SaaS) platform that helps companies make sense of their data in order to streamline their operations. Palantir's operating cash flow and double-digit sales growth are secure because no major corporations are providing comparable goods. History indicates a higher likelihood that the bubbles for both equities may collapse in 2026, despite the fact that these competitive advantages are indisputable. Some of the most popular movements on Wall Street changed the game over time. The internet, for example, completely changed how companies advertise and sell their goods. If next big thing technologies have one thing in common, it's that they require time to develop and mature. The internet, genome decoding, nanotechnology, 3D printing, blockchain technology, and the metaverse all had enormous potential, yet each of these highly anticipated technologies saw an early-stage bubble burst. Investors overestimate how soon new technology will be widely adopted and optimized by companies and/or consumers, which is why bubbles burst. One could argue that the dot-com boom and the emergence of AI are not comparable, and to some degree, this is true. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, the majority of internet-driven companies lacked a solid operating division. As a result, investors were paying unimaginable prices for enterprises that were losing money and burning cash. Many of the businesses at the forefront of AI's development have strong foundations, that is, multiple lucrative business divisions before AI became the newest big thing. Nonetheless, the current AI revolution and the dot-com boom are comparable in that companies aren't even close to optimizing these technologies. It took businesses almost 6 months to figure out how to use the internet to improve their marketing and increase sales. Businesses aren't very close to optimizing their AI solutions, despite Nvidia's prediction to produce $213 billion in full-year revenue for fiscal 2026, ended in January 2026, with roughly 90% coming from its data center segment. In other words, even while the floor for AI equities may be higher than what happened when the dot-com bubble burst 25 years ago, both Nvidia and Palantir seem to be using the same mechanisms that caused a bubble-bursting event. In addition, past trends in valuation indicate a difficult future. Some of the public companies that spearheaded the charge peaked at trailing 12-month price-to-sales (PS) ratios that ranged from about 30 to 40 in the 15 months preceding the dot-com bubble burst. History demonstrates that throughout the past 3 decades, no industry-leading business has been able to sustain a PS ratio of 30 or higher for an extended length of time. Nvidia and Palantir concluded the trading session on December 12th at PS ratios of 23 and 120 respectively, keeping this historical detail in mind. Nvidia reached the previously indicated PS ratio threshold of 30 as recently as early November, despite the fact that it is currently below this unsustainable benchmark. A PS ratio of 120 cannot be justified for Palantir. No upward surprise would be adequate to justify the aggressive premium in relation to the company's sales, even if CEO Alex Karp were to raise the sales forecast on a near-quarterly basis. On Wall Street, history tends to rhyme, even while historical precedent cannot ensure that directional movements will occur in any particular stock or major index. This makes it a useful teaching tool and implies that a bubble-bursting event involving Palantir and Nvidia in 2026 is quite likely. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.